I don't know. I need a
Hi guys, it's Courtney here with LilKittenKrafts, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the different ways that you can use alcohol ink. So stay tuned to check that out. If you want to, please subscribe to my channel. It's free to you, but to us it means the world. All products in this video today will be listed down below, but are not sponsored. Welcome to voiceover LilKittenKrafts, because my respirator sounds awful on the audio track. So to start with, I mixed my resin off camera just because I'm actually going to do a video dedicated to resin mixing, and you guys don't need to see me mix resin 4,700 million times because each one of these videos is going to start with me mixing resin. The first method that we're going to be looking at is going to be the alcohol ink in the mold before you pour the resin. I'm starting by mixing and shaking all of my alcohol inks so that they're well and truly dispersed within the alcohol. And then we're going to drop the alcohol ink into the mold and then add the resin. The trick with doing this method is that you have to do it pretty much immediate. So make sure that your resin is already mixed before you start dropping ink into your mold. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a polka dot look instead of the beautiful dragged look that we're going to get. I moved my resin into a smaller mixing container just because I find the smaller ones to be a bit more easy to control the pour with than the larger ones. So I started with red, and then we went to orange and yellow alcohol ink to kind of give it a beautiful beginning of a rainbow. These coasters are rainbow themed, and I really wanted to embrace that mixing of the colors. Next, I added some heavy white. Now this is pinata white without being diluted, and the reason why is because the white will allow the colors to be able to speak better. What I mean by that is that the colors are dark until you add the white, and then the white makes them brighter. Next, we added some pinata brass just to the center to add a little sparkle, because you guys know I am all about glitter and sparkle as a glitter gremlin. And just look at that beautiful pour. I'm pouring slowly in the middle just to give it the effect of almost a flower, and it streaks back down and mixes with each other. Now the ink is going to arch up and then come to the back of the piece, and it's going to give a really neat effect. Wait until you see the demolding. It is absolutely beautiful. Whenever you're pouring resin, you want to make sure that you don't have any air bubbles in your mold, and also you can use this opportunity to swirl the colors to get it exactly how you want it. The beautiful thing about resin art is that it is art, and you can make it whatever you want it to be. So I'm just playing with it, mixing the colors, adding some swirls, some dips, some tricks, because why not? I'm wanting to have fun. I want you guys to have fun too. And once you are satisfied that all the air bubbles are out and that the swirling is as you would like it, then you move it aside. And once I am satisfied that the bubbles are out and that the swirling is to my liking, I move it aside. Then I break the stick so that I can reuse it. So the next method that I'm going to show you guys is called sometimes the Petri dish method, where you pour your resin and then you add your alcohol inks to the back of it and use a heavier color such as white to drop the ink forward in the piece, giving it almost a Petri dish growing something effect. Which sounds gross, but really it's very pretty. So again, you want to make sure that there is no air bubbles in your piece. I like to leave a little bit of space when I pour my resin, just because you want space for the alcohol ink. You don't want to be stressed that you're adding too much liquid to your mold. And also, I enjoy adding some resin on the back end. Otherwise, you get a kind of odd film on the back of it. So first, I add some yellow, and then I'm going to add yellowish green, emerald green, and blue. And then I'm going to add some white, do it all over again, and finally add my magic. For the magic, which is the pinata in pearl, and just watch it dance. It is stunning. Plus, as a glitter gremlin, I really love adding this beautiful shimmer to it. Once satisfied with the piece, I then put away my alcohol inks and move the piece aside to do the next piece. The next piece is a mixed piece, as in you mix the alcohol ink into the resin. So to start with, you add the heavy white directly into the resin before you even pour it into the mold. This allows all the other colors that you're going to add to really sink and disperse within the piece. Honestly, I don't use this method very often. If I'm going to use a opaque piece, I typically go with mica powder. But this is a way to get a non-shimmery opaque piece, if that's what you want. But why? Glitter is life. So I add the now white resin to the mold, And then I'm going to add each of my 3 colors, which in this one is going to be green, blue, and purple, to the piece, and then use my stick to mix it in with the white. Doing this method will get you a smoky, misty look with your colors. Otherwise, you could mix the colors directly in with the resin and then pour them in fully mixed. But personally, I like the wispy effect that you get when you add the colors in to the white resin in the mold. And with all these pieces, I just played with the colors until I am satisfied with the piece and how it looks. Keeping in mind that resin has a mind of its own, and as it cures, the colors will move. Whatever you put into curing, it will change. That is just the nature of resin. But it's also the fun of resin, because then you get a surprise on how amazing your piece looks. And I didn't like how the purple had kind of taken over the entire piece, so I went back and I added some more green to it just to disperse some of that purple. And that's always a choice that you can make, is to add more of a color to balance out your colors. Obviously green and blue together make purple, so it was predisposed to be mostly purple, but I just wanted it a bit more green. This coaster is actually going to be a display of method 1 and 2. So I'm starting by adding some of my alcohol ink to the front. I'm using the Pinata in copper. I work the copper into the edges of the mold, and then I actually spin the mold to make sure that the copper is fully covering all of the edges. Once I'm satisfied with how the edges are covered with the copper alcohol ink, I then add my resin, and then I start the petri dish method. As you see, some of the copper does come up, and I'm okay with that because it adds some really interesting effects to the edges of the coasters. Now, starting the petri dish, I'm going to do blue, purple, and red, then a layer of the sinking white, and then some more blue, purple, and red, just to get it nice and sunk in. Again, I did not add a full amount of resin to the coaster because I like adding resin after I do my alcohol inks to avoid a film in the back, and to allow me to have plenty of room to put as much alcohol ink as I want, within reason. Because alcohol ink is a liquid, it does thin your resin, so you want to be careful on how much alcohol ink you place into your resin, otherwise it may not cure properly. And each resin is different with how it reacts to alcohol ink. Experiment and see how the alcohol ink and resin interact with each other with whatever brand you are using. Time for more magic. I absolutely love the metallic colors from Pinata. This is the piece that had the alcohol ink dropped in front of it with then the resin poured on top of it afterwards and then swirled. Here's the back. Here's the front. So you end up getting these stripes. And I could have been a little faster on pouring the resin and I wouldn't have done the circles so bad. But it's not, I'm not mad. It's cute.
Yeah, it's cool.
And this is the piece that was done with the Petri dish method. So the resin was poured and then the alcohol ink was added to the back. And then the white and the pinata silver, or pearl, the pinata pearl, sinks it forward. So if you look from the side there, you see it coming up, just like a Petri dish would be growing things. This is the piece that had the alcohol ink added to the resin and then added to the mold. Then I used the colors and I mixed them in. This is also known as the mixed technique because you're actually mixing it in. You get this really cool kind of smoky, I can't unsee that this is Mob Squad. You get this misty, smoky look to it.
That one might be my favorite. That's cool.
And this one is the mixture of Technique 1, which is the alcohol ink being added to the front, and Technique 2, which is the Petri dish. So because the alcohol ink was added in the front, it's got this bronzing effect on the rim, but then the Petri dish on the back. Doing alcohol ink is a great way to get some really cool techniques in your casting, so hopefully this helped you guys get to that point. If you liked what you saw, make sure to sprinkle your love on the like button. Want to see more, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be notified whenever we post. And until next time, thank you for watching. Bye! It's like I have done too many backups. Gotta record the Amazon truck. You were down here. Why are you up there now? Don't look at my face. What's wrong with you?
But anyways.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Oh. Whoops.